guys, today we're going to be chatting all about my best in beauty for 2018 and the way I decided to choose the products, because I try a lot of products, I love a lot of products, where these are the items I found myself reaching for time and time again in their given category. So for the most part I've selected one for each category, but of course I've gone over in a few categories like lips. I'm also going to do a separate video of my favorite foundations and then also my favorite eyeshadow palettes, so stay tuned for that. They will be coming this week, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with a primer and kind of work my way up through a full face of makeup. The first is the Origins Original Skin Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer, and when this launched it looked a little bit gimmicky because it has this foamy texture, but it's actually really gorgeous. Sometimes I find primers they can almost make things a little bit harder than if you hadn't used a primer in the first place, if it's hard to work with, if you have to pat it in the skin or it pills up. But this has a beautiful cooling feeling on the skin. It's soothing. It helps to smooth out the skin. I wouldn't say it's like a super oil controlling primer, and I would recommend this for normal combo skin as well, because it adds like this little bit of hydration without making the skin any oilier, still smoothing things out and mattifying a little bit, but not with like really intense oil control. So I found myself using this a ton when I had a bunch of acne at the beginning of the year with texture, and towards the end of the year where my skin was cleared up but was feeling a little bit dehydrated. So I feel like it could be great for a lot of people, and I don't really hear many people talking about it, so definitely loved this one. Moving on to concealers, there's a few that I really did like this year, but the one that I continually reached for is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I have a full dedicated review on it if you'd like to see swatches in comparison to other shades that I have in my collection and see it actually on my face. But the reason I really liked this is not only is it full coverage, which is how I prefer my concealers to be, but it has a great creamy texture, but it's not too hydrating or too dry under the eyes. It lasts a really long time, and a great bonus if you do enjoy this formula is you're getting half a fluid ounce in here, which is half the size of the foundation, so you're getting a ton of product in here. And with something like a blush, I don't necessarily care how much product is in there because I'm probably not going to run through it, but something like a concealer where I get really into it and use it basically every time I do my makeup, I really appreciate having lots of product in here. It does work out to be a great value of $1 per ounce. I didn't do the actual math, but considering you're getting so much product in here, it's a great deal. So I have multiple powders to chat about because they have multiple uses. So the first one that I want to mention is from Rodeo. This is their Instaglam Banana Powder. This is the small size, and I use this to travel because I don't really have any other mini banana powders, but I actually really love this, and I'm kicking myself because I did a powder declutter earlier this year at some point, and I decluttered the large size of this because I was like, I don't need two, but now I would kind of like to have two because I have a drawer where I put all my travel stuff so that when I go to travel I'm not looking around for certain things, especially a product like this where it's something I would use quite often. So kind of kicking myself, but it's a great under eye powder. I find it has a nice amount of pigmentation in there, and I really like that when I want to brighten the under eye. I find sometimes translucent powders don't really do it for me. I don't know if it's my skin tone, but the tone of this, the yellowness, the amount of coverage that it provides, I think it's really good. So probably should get the full size of that again. Then I've mentioned this a bunch. It is the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. I really love this for not only setting my face but also setting my primer. If I really feel oily, really want my makeup to last, I just put a little dusting of this over my primer and then follow up with my powder. I did this in I think a foundation routine video, so I'll link to any kind of relevant videos down below as always, along with my Best in Beauty 2017, because there was products I wanted to include in this and I was like, oh, I loved those in 2017, they still stand, so I'll link that down below. But this is an incredible mattifying powder. You get a ton of product in here. I haven't used this under my eyes because I feel like it might be too matte, but I really find it helps to keep the oils at bay. Then for another loose powder, this one is kind of more double duty. You can use it to set your face or to set your under eyes. I primarily used it under my eyes, but it's the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and I think I got this around the middle of the year, and I really picked out products that I was like, what did I get, and then kept using over and over again, and this was definitely it. I'm a little bit picky when it comes to the powders that I put under my eyes, and this is such a cult favorite. I mean, everybody has loved this forever. A little bit late to the bandwagon on this, but I really like it. Super smooth, and I do like that I can use it both under my eyes and on my face. It's really smoothing on my skin because the majority of the powders I can't do that. And then the final powder that I want to mention is a newer one to me. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. In contrast to the Too Faced Concealer, this does not have a ton of product in here. You're getting 8 grams. So I got this 2 months ago or so, and I've already hit pan, which is insane, but it's kind of bittersweet, I guess, because hitting pan is just incredibly satisfying. As somebody who owns a lot of makeup and almost never hits pan on anything, this is incredibly satisfying. On the same kind of, in the same breath, I guess I would say, there's not a ton of product in here, and it's a high-end product, so you're gonna run through it fast. And the fact that I hit pan on it, whether there's a lot of product in there or not, means that I have been using it quite a bit, and I've used it basically every single day since I've got it. I mentioned this in a recent December favorite, so I won't go into too much detail, but it gives a nice amount of pigmentation. It really smooths the skin, and I find where my skin has been a little bit on the drier or more dehydrated side, I don't want anything that's gonna look heavy or cakey on my skin, so this does a beautiful job just kind of evening everything out and setting it without making it look too powdery. So oddly enough, when it came to bronzers, blushes, powder, highlights, there was nothing that really stuck out to me that I continued to use. There was tons of products that I love, but there was nothing that really stuck out to me, and I didn't want to force it. So I realized that I've been using a lot more cream products this year, so I wanted to highlight some of those. So for cream contour, I really enjoyed the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. This one is in the shade medium dark. There's a lighter shade as well. It is so creamy, so blendable. Last year I was all about the Wet n Wild contour stick, which I love, but I've actually finished up, so I'm trying to use some different things because I used that to death. So that's a great, more affordable option, but I really like this, and it actually has quite a bit of pigment to it. It's quite deep, so even if you're deeper than me, I think you could make this work. But with cream contour, the thing I'm looking for the most is something that's not going to be too thick or too hard to blend, because when you're putting like a brown line on your face, you want to be able to blend it out, and you want to have a little time to do that. So I feel like this just gives a really beautiful natural contour, and I really like the highlight as well, but the contour for me really stood out. And then for highlighters, like I said, there was no powder highlight that really jumped out at me, but there's 2 liquids I wanted to mention. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Soft Light, and I was so surprised when I swatched this, and I remember when it initially launched swatching it and kind of being a little bit underwhelmed, and it doesn't look like much in the swatch, but on the skin. I have tons of videos where I have used this. I wore this straight for, I think I got this in like February, and I wore this non-stop, especially because I had a ton of acne, cystic, really textured skin, and I didn't want to go too hardcore and anything too metallic. And this just added the most beautiful, natural, lit from within, you drink your 8 glasses of water a day kind of glow, and it's so incredible. So you can put it on your top of your cheekbones and all of that, or you can also use it to mix in with foundations, which I've done recently too. And I feel like you could use this over a liquid foundation and then set your face and have a super natural glow, or sometimes I would pair it with a powder, but either way it is so gorgeous. I just want to like especially mention that it doesn't look good when you swatch it, but it actually looks incredible on the face. And then if you're looking for something that's a little more boomin' and bright, the Bonnie Dumanizer or the Mary Dumanizer or any of the Dumanizers from The Balm, they now have a liquid version of I think most of their highlighters. Very gorgeous, incredibly intense. Like when you put this on over your liquid and then you set your face, like it's still glowing. Word of warning, and I have mentioned this before, but just in case you're hearing it for the first time, put it on your face, immediately blend it out. Do a cheek at a time. Don't draw it all over your face and try to blend it out. Like I've dotted it all over my cheek. Oh, I gotta sneeze, hold on. It's coming. Oh, and I'm gonna lose it now because I said that. So sad. But I've dotted it on my cheek, dotted it on this cheek, blah, and then gone to blend it out and just literally left dots on my cheek. So blend it out quickly, but the bonus to that is that if you have an oilier skin type or if things seem to disappear off your cheeks, this sticks around, but you just gotta blend it out quick. Now, while I don't have any blushes, bronzers, or powder highlights to mention, I do actually have 2 face palettes to mention, which is different for me because I've always struggled with face palettes. I find they're either far too light for me or like 80% of the shades don't work for me or whatever it might be. But I have 2 that I really love. The first is from e.l.f. This is their Modern Metals Yeah, Modern Metals Highlight and Blush Palette. It's a little bit powdery here. That is the highlight that I'm wearing today. I mixed these two together, and it's a very beautiful palette. It is a little bit powdery, and it's a little bit messy. You can kind of see here, but the finish on the skin of the highlighters is so gorgeous. It has such a sheen to it without being glittery or too shiny. And then the blushes, I love the blush tones. I find in a lot of blush palettes there's always like a really vibrant pink, which is beautiful, but I'm generally reaching for these kind of tones when it comes to the day-to-day. One thing that I also really noticed about these shades is that they last on the skin really nicely, because sometimes you can get a gorgeous blush, but it disappears. And blush is generally one of the first to go, but I found that these were really long lasting. I think this palette is $10 or $12. I'm not sure if it's limited edition, but it's so freaking good. I really love the whole Modern Metals collection. And then this is another face palette that launched this summer, I think, but it's the Too Faced Natural Face Palette. And I have a Bahamas makeup bag video that I filmed in December that's yet to go up. That'll be up in December, but I barely took any makeup with me, but I did take this. And the fact that this is a face palette that I can travel with is just so exciting. If I had any more color, I would not be able to use the bronzer. It was already debatable when I was in the Bahamas, but the two highlighters are gorgeous, the two blushes are gorgeous. It's just a really nice palette, and I can use every single shade, which I think is partially why I love it so much, because that almost never happens. But the actual formula is gorgeous, and again, those highlighters are really beautiful creamy shades that have a lot of metallicness to them, but no glitter, no shimmer, and it has that kind of like vanilla-y scent. They don't really market that, I feel, in their products, but a lot of the Too Faced powder products smell that way. But I was really, really impressed with this. I'd love to see them come out with some more face palettes in different shades and for a more variety of skin tones always, but I was really happy with this. So moving up to my eyebrows, there was no real brow product, colored product that really stood out to me. There's tons of great brow pencils out there. I love NYX Micro Brow, L'Oreal, I love the Kiss Top Brow. There's a million different great brow pencils out there, so I couldn't really choose just one because I was like, they're all good. But the product that I have talked about for this entire year, this is my main Best in Beauty. This is a product that I can see myself using indefinitely, and I would throw out all my other brow gels for this one. Okay, there's not many products I would say that about. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter, and it just does everything I want. It holds my brows in place. It makes my brows look full but not crunchy. It does have a lot of hold. I mean, they don't feel completely soft, but that's fine to me. Like, nobody is stroking my brows, or at least historically that has not happened. So really love this. I love that it has a brush. The brush on it has one side is longer, the other side is shorter, so I can kind of adjust. And especially since I've been getting my brows threaded, I feel like I have to do very little to my brows. Most days I will just pop this in here depending on what's on my face. So really, really love this. And then for mascara this year, this one has blown me away. I have been wearing this non-stop. It is the Maybelline, no, not Maybelline at all. It is the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I'm obsessed with this, and there's a lot of mascaras that I did really like this year, but I have gone back to this time and time and time again. It just gives me crazy long, curly, voluminous lashes. When I'm out, people are like, are you wearing falsies? In my video comment section as well, whenever I'm wearing this, people are like, what is on your lashes? I need to know. And by the way, it's always listed in the description. I always list what's on my face in the description, but people always ask. But yeah, it's just an incredible mascara. It gives just so much to your lashes, and I don't have issues with flaking, transferring, anything like that, but I don't have that issue with any mascara for the most part. But yeah, ooh, love this. For setting spray, there's two that I really, really love. One is no longer with us because I finished it and I haven't gotten a new one yet, but it is the Urban Decay All Nighter. I absolutely love it. I love it over the De-Slick. It just keeps everything in place, keeps everything looking vibrant. It does what a setting spray should do. You know, sometimes you try a setting spray and you're like, did it do anything? I don't know, I can't really tell. With the Urban Decay All Nighter, again, a cult favorite that I was late to, it absolutely does what you want it to do, and same can be said for this. This is the Cover FX high performance setting spray. I've heard amazing things about the mattifying one, but this one is to instantly set your look and make it last all day, fast drying, alcohol free, keeps makeup in place, long lasting, etc, etc, and it truly does. It helps your makeup last longer, keeps it vibrant. I wore this when I went and did the CN Tower Edge Walk, which is walking along the edge of the CN Tower. I vlogged it, I'll link it down below. But if that's not high performance, I don't know what is. And this did a great job, and I will never freaking do that again. But I will continue to use this in the day-to-day, so I really like this. They have a bunch of setting sprays. There's one that's dewy, matte, high performance, and illuminating, I think. And I've tried the dewy as well. It's not as much my jam, but I really love this. So now we get into the lip portion of this video, and lips is hard. There's so many things I could talk about. There's a lot of lip products that I love, but again, I wanted to talk about the things that I had to spend extra time finding because they were in purses, in book bags, things that if you meet me on the street, I'm probably wearing one of these shades. Like I have my go-to kind of pinks, nudes, etc. that I've been wearing throughout this year, and there's a bunch actually, again, that I was going to include that were in 2017, so I encourage you, if you're curious, to check that video out because there's so many that carried over from last year to this year. But that being said, there's still a ton to talk about for this year. So currently on my lips is ColourPop BFF3 liner, which was in last year's 2017 Best in Beauty. Surprisingly, I didn't include this. It is the CoverGirl Melting Pout Matte, and it's in the shade Coral Chronicles. This is a shade that I use all the time, kind of in place of Kat Von D's Lolita. I wear this all the time. Like if you meet me and I'm out somewhere and I've got a full face of makeup on, I'm probably wearing this. I wear it with a lip liner, and it's just perfect. It's just my perfect shade when I wear it with a lip liner, and for me, I love the lip look of a lip liner and a lipstick, so for me the perfect thing is always going to be a combination. I don't dock points for having to wear a lip liner with it because I really love the way that looks. So it's very, very comfortable, wears great, really great shade, and I don't hear many people talking about these liquid lipsticks. And then I'm also wearing a gloss today, and this is the Bite Beauty French Press glosses. I know these were limited edition, but they didn't sell out super fast, and I still see people talking about them, so I'm not totally sure if they're still available. I did do a lip swatch video on these plus their Spice collection, which was just... that lip swatch video is probably one of my favorites ever because all the shades were so good. Bite does such a good job with their lipsticks, but this is the shade Salted Caramel, which I'm wearing right now, and then I also really loved Dirty Chai, but I really love the entire line with the exception of the deepest shade. But I'll link to that lip swatch video down below so you can see it in action, and I can't recall if they're still out, but if they are, beautiful formula. Another Bite lipstick that I have to mention is in the shade Ruse Meow, and earlier this year I went to the Bite Beauty Lip Lab. I actually went years ago when I went in New York, so I'll link to that old vlog down below, but I have a newer vlog from this year where I went to the lip lab and created what is someone doing in the hallway? Oh my god. Make more noise. Like throwing out everything in their apartment into the garbage chute. Okay, as I was saying, I went to the lip lab in February and I also vlogged it. I created 4 shades and I really love all of them, but I wanted to specifically point out Ruse Meow because Ruse. So it's just a really gorgeous shade. I actually brought in, I think, Coral Chronicles BFF3, Kat Von D Lolita. I wanted it to be that kind of combination style lipstick or style color in a lipstick format because the majority of the lip combos that I really enjoy always feature a liquid lipstick. So I wanted to have a more traditional bullet tube, so super fun. Anybody can go to the Bite Lip Lab to create your own custom shade. They have them Toronto, New York, San Francisco is the newest one. I can't remember where else, but it is lots of fun. And I don't know that I've ever mentioned this lipstick on my channel. Maybe in a favorites video a little like a year ago or something, but similar to Coral Chronicles, this is something I put on my lips all the time. If I have a lipstick that's a little bit too dark, like it's a My Lips But Better but a smidge too dark, and I want to brighten it up or add a little bit of definition, this is like my favorite center of the lips lipstick, which if you're not a makeup junkie, you'd be like, that is the most excessive thing I've ever heard, to have a lipstick that like you never put all over your lips, it's just for the center. But I promise you, it is gorgeous. Whenever I'm wearing like a look like this, where I have like kind of a heavier eye, really perfected skin, I love going in with a lip liner, a lipstick, and then a little bit of this in the center. I should tell you what it is. It is the Tardis lip paint in Home Slice, and I've actually never worn this all over my lips. I think it might look horrific in that way because it's kind of bright and peachy and a little pastel, and I don't know that it would even go totally opaque, but in the way that I use it, it's just my absolute favorite. So if you end up with a lipstick or a lip gloss, whatever it might be that you don't totally like, don't only think of it as being something you put all over your lips. Like, try dotting it on, wearing it with a lip liner, mixing it in. I mean, obviously return it if you really don't like it and you have that ability, but if you end up with one that you don't love from a subscription box or whatever it may be, try using it in different ways, because when I tried to use this in the center of the lips, it changed the game. Tons of drugstore lip products to talk about as well. I have 2 different formulas from L'Oreal. They released these color riche matte lipsticks. So this one is in the shade Matte Mandate, which is just the most gorgeous pink. I love these kinds of pinks, and that's something I wore a ton this summer. And then they also released the color riche Shine. Tons of gorgeous shades. I have lip swatch videos for both of these so you can see them all in action. Like, none of these products should really be coming to you as a surprise. These are all products that I've reviewed and talked about. That's why it's my best in beauty. Nothing should be like, whoa, I've never heard you mention that, or you've never reviewed it. Like, this has all made an appearance somewhere on my channel. But I love this shade in Glossy Fawn. There's another kind of more corally shade that I think I might have left in the Bahamas, and I'm a little bit sad about that. I don't know. But anyways, Glossy Fawn is perfect. It's just so easy to not only throw on because of the color, it's a really good match for me as something kind of nude but not too nude, but the formula as well, it's super easy. It's glossy but still has a little bit of moisture, doesn't totally disappear off the lips. I mean, it's not the most long lasting, it isn't a matte lipstick, but I appreciate that it's comfortable, it's glossy, it makes your lips look hydrated, and comes in a bunch of beautiful shades as well. So for those lipsticks that I just mentioned, the L'Oreal, these Rimmel, and then the next ones I'm going to mention are all a combination of a nude and a pink that I love from the line. They're kind of the ones I reach for the most, but I really like these. Again, I have a full lip swatch video on these. These are the Rimmel Stay Statins, and I enjoyed the Stay Matte, but I enjoy the Stay Satin even more. I'm a huge fan of the ColourPop Ultra Satin lips. I really like that formula because you get the pigmentation of a liquid lipstick, but it's something that's more comfortable but still sticks around on your lips. So 2 shades that I want to point out are the shades It Girl and For Sure, whatever. But these are 2 really great shades, but I loved basically every lipstick that they launched, because some of the Stay Mattes that they launched like 5 concealery nudes, and I was kind of a little bit confused about that range, but the range that comes with the Stay Satins are so good. It still has good lasting power, very, very comfortable, and I feel like it's a unique formula to the drugstore, which is really exciting to me. There's also a really great red in there as well. From CoverGirl, I have more nudes, more pinks, and a red. These are the Exhibitionist Lipsticks. These launched a couple months back, and again, I have a whole video on the new CoverGirl collection, including a lip swatch video on the Exhibitionist Lipsticks. I think there's like 40 lipsticks or something that they launched, and I've always liked CoverGirl lipsticks, but I hated the scent. The scent is so strong, and not only is it strong, but it sticks around and you can taste it. I don't mind if it's not a scent that I don't like, that you can't taste after you put it on or whatever it may be, but like, it sticks with you the entire time it's on your lips. So glad to report that is not the case with these Exhibitionist lipsticks. There are 4 different formulas. So there's cream, demi-matte, matte, and then also metallic. And I have 3 creams that I want to mention to you. So Hot is the most gorgeous, beautiful kind of classic red. Then 2 incredible nudes are Tempting Toffee and Sultry Sienna. I absolutely love these. And then a pink similar to the other pinks that I've been talking about is Just Saying, and this one is a demi matte, really beautiful, comfortable formula. These are incredible lipsticks, incredible shade range. I especially love the nudes. Great nudes at the drugstore can be a little bit hard to find. They can be too dark, too orange, too whatever, but there's a really nice range of nudes in here. So I especially love these 2, and the creamy formula is nice and creamy, still has good pigmentation, not super glossy. Demi matte is really beautiful, it's going to last a little bit longer. Some of the metallics were super cool and some of them were really, really bad that I tried, but I'll leave that video down below. And then the last lip product that I want to mention, like, this was me scaling back the lip products, but is the Clarins Water Lip Stain. This I just think is so pretty. It's like summer in a tube. I pretty much only wear the orange, but there's 4 different shades in the range. This one is in the shade Orange Water, and it literally has the consistency of Jello before you've put it in the fridge to set. And it tastes like that as well. It's delicious, don't drink it, but it gives this beautiful stain. And I wore this, I brought this on vacation twice. I was blessed enough to get to the Caribbean twice this year, and I brought this both times. I wore this a ton in the summer with just like mascara and this, and it is a little bit of a weird watery formula, and you can build up the coverage, but I just think that the color is beautiful, and there's not a lot of stains out there that I actually like or have encountered. Stains are not that popular, I feel like, anymore, but it gives such a beautiful, beautiful finish to the lips, and I love the orange one, and I definitely need to try out the other shades because they're so pretty. And then lastly, I need to give a quick shout out to Kiss Nails. These are the Impress. Right now I'm wearing the Glam Fantasy or the Gel Fantasies or whatever they're called. These are my preference because I have bigger nails, so these tend to fit a little bit better, but I love the Impress as well, especially these past 6 months. Like, I've always been a nail polish girl. I love painting my nails. I used to do it like 2 or 3 times a week, but things have gotten busy, life has gotten in the way, and also I find it's a more professional look for what I do because my nails always had to look good because I'm doing close-ups for these videos, or I'm going to events and I'm meeting people, or I'm filming, or I'm showing you doing my makeup, and I just need my nails to always look good, and I don't always have the time to paint them. And there's nothing worse than painting your nails and having it chip, and then you've got to like repaint it and you're waiting and blah 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 blah. And it's like something came up yesterday, my nails looked like crap. I popped these on and I'm super polished and ready to go. And I used glue with these today, but you can use the pads if you don't want to glue it directly to your nails. For me, that's camera cut me off, but for me it's my preference to glue depending on what the situation is, but you can definitely get many days wear out of just using the Impress as well. I did a video with Kiss about a month ago, so I'll link to that down below if you'd like to see how I apply the Impress, but just so incredibly convenient, and I can kind of see now how people get addicted to having like long acrylic nails or whatever it may be, because now when I don't have them on, I just feel really bizarre, and I feel like that's how people feel without false lashes as well. I'm not there yet, but it's funny because when I first tried these on, they felt so long, they felt so extreme. I was like, oh my god, like there's jewels and blah blah blah. I was used to just having kind of plain nails, and now it's just like super fun and it just looks so much better. So I still love nail polish, but these have just been an absolute lifesaver this year and have really, really changed up my routine, so I definitely wanted to point that out to you. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let me know down below what your best in beauty was, and let me know if there was anything that I influenced you to pick up this year. I'm always, always curious about that. Stay tuned for my favorite foundations and eyeshadow palettes, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!